old days, I don't know if you all remember, but in the old days, I could put a title on top of the YouTube live before I posted it, and I liked that because it gave a bit of a chapter overarching. I don't mean chapter. What I meant was uh, like an umbrella, like it gave like a parameter, a bound. I'm not a boundary, oh, a concise. It just made it feel nicer to. I'd work out the name of the YouTube discussion, and it really helped consolidate. It created consolidation, and it also created a sense of, I thought, oh, anyone watching or listening has an idea of what it's about before they even click on. I haven't been able to do that for a long time, ever since, I don't know if you noticed, but I can't even change the photo in the front either, so certain things have changed that I'm not sure how to unchange. So in that, I would have liked to have labeled today's conversation. Um, Anyways, I missed 2 Mondays ago, and I missed last Monday, and today is Wednesday, the 3rd of September. I'm doing it today, and one of the reasons why I'm doing it today is because I have the house to myself at the moment. And with the walks with the dogs, I haven't been doing the channel whilst walking because I've noticed that the wind factor makes it. I might not hear that the wind's loud, but it sounds really loud. Until I get on the phone, until I get a muffler thing that goes around it, which will happen over time. So today's YouTube, like the last week and a half, a lot's been happening, and I've been wanting to talk about a lot. And one of the things I've wanted to talk about is this amazing women's to women workshop that I've been doing. And last week we worked on forgiveness. Friday, we're working on shame. Oh, it's such a powerful workshop. So the topic shame I'm finding really interesting, and I wrote some stuff about shame that I put in a book, which I've misplaced somewhere at the moment. And I really need to clarify to everyone that I'm in the middle of creating home, so everything's really chaotic at the moment. But I wrote heaps of notes, and I really wanted to share them. But with the word shame, I've started playing around, did some poetry around it, and I realised we often feel shame even when we're not realising it. So there's that. I think it's connected to self-worth or self-identity. It's a big topic, shame, and it's very egotistical, because obviously we're thinking that something in us that's not good enough, we're not doing enough, we've done something wrong. And shame impacts us in a way that it makes us think we're going to be rejected, we're going to lose something that's really important to us. And I'll give you an example. Today I was volunteering at an op shop. And it's my 8th week at this new op shop. And the op shop is actually owned and run by a friend of mine, completely honest all the time. And if I disagreed, pardon me, I just farted. If I disagreed with something, we had a nice way of communicating it. But it was more of an acquaintanceship rather than a deep friendship. But we have always really liked each other. But the honesty was next level. And I've realised, working as her volunteer employee, I'm tiptoeing a little bit because I don't want to lose my position as volunteer, because I love being of service to her and what she's creating. And I spoke to one of my colleagues about it, and I said, I'm worried about sharing this and this and this because I don't want to lose my position. And she goes, you'll never lose your position. And I said to her, it's my mental health. It's definitely my mental health, because it's so important to me to be in a position of being of service and doing this work, supporting my friend with her op shop. She bought it. And she did it to save. Like, it was a big call for her to do this. She really knew that we needed to have the affordable household items and clothing. And the previous op shop, which was a corporate based one, wasn't making enough money, and they left our regional country town. So the shop lost its lease, and it became empty. And she decided to uh, lease the property, create a business, and it was outside of her everything that she knew, pretty much. And she's doing great. I think been running for 6 months now. And I love being of service with her. We do kitchenette duty at our church, and we work really well doing that. And that's easy because it's just us two just working together in the kitchen for morning tea. I was just noticing today the shame that I feel around. Sometimes I think I'm not doing fast enough or good enough, and I don't want to lose my position. And I kept thinking, Nadina, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, you're doing next level. Like, if this was a paid position, you would be fine. If there was a contract in place, you'd be fine. What is it about the volunteer position that's making you feel so uncomfortable? Why do you feel like you have to overachieve or overprove? And what's this about anyways? Like, you were chosen as a volunteer by someone who knows you very well. So, and anyway, it goes on and on and on and on. And when I write my book, I will be discussing a lot of my experiences in life, because I have noticed when I'm in a paid position compared to when I'm in a volunteer position, I notice that my sense of pressure is higher in volunteer positions. And what I love about doing volunteer work is that it's not a contract. So uh, if we decide it's not working for whatever reason, it it's I'm not letting anyone down by saying sorry, I'm not quite right fit for this company or this program. And they might say the same. And it's respectful, and it's a bit different to when you're employed. And I've been employed in lots of jobs where I've gone, oh, you have job scopes, and you have to work within that job scope. And as a result, in my opinion, working as an aged care worker, disability and aged care worker in particular, I was very limited with what I could legally provide for my clients because of my supposed job scope. But yet I was doing way more that was in my job scope. And technically the companies were being highly legal because, like, and then we were also silenced a lot, and there was lots going on in that industry that I really didn't like at all. I loved being of service to the people. I didn't at all. The healthcare sector and the disability sector is very corrupt. And the aged care sector, it's extremely corrupt. And the amount of abuse that a lot of the workers do to the residents and the clients, but also what the directors and the RNs and everyone expect the carers to partake in. And if you don't, all sorts of things happen. And one of them is you can lose your job, and they try to make out you did something wrong. Anyway, the point of the story is volunteer work, shame. Yeah, I'm just interested in this topic, shame, because I have to be really honest with you. I didn't think I had a lot of shame in me up until recently. How's that for a bad joke? So what actually happened with me for a really long time, I thought I'd dealt with my shame, because, as a lot of you know, I've got a really big abuse history, ranging from when I was a little infant. And I been doing a lot of work on myself since I was, oh man, definitely 15 and up, but maybe even younger. But I've always been praying to a higher loving energy, which now I call God. But even from a very, very young age, I used to say Father Sky, loving, I was always speaking and reaching out to a source of love that was untangible, I couldn't see or touch or feel, and that's how I got through my very abusive childhood and young teenhood and young adulthood. And um, yeah, I've done heaps of therapy and heaps of this and heaps of that, heaps of different forms of healing. And I really, really, really believed that I had dealt with my shame. And the reason why I believed I dealt with my shame was because my sense of self worth was, I perceived my sense of self worth to be very high, as in I had clear boundaries. Very could say no to abuse. And obviously there's different layers, is what I'm learning. Okay, so I have healed a lot of my shame, and I've healed a lot of my healthy boundary issues, and I've definitely got a good sense of identity as myself, separate from the abuse. Like, I've separated, I don't feel shame about what's happened to me. I don't feel shame about, um, I don't identify myself as the abuse victim. In fact, I wouldn't even call myself a victim for a very, very, very long time, because I thought that was a disempowering terminology. And then I've come to realize that in the last 3 or 4 years, yes, have been a victim. Yes, I am a victim, but I'm innocent. I wasn't, as a victim, it doesn't mean I'm weak, or, it's not because I'm weak that I'm a victim. So that was a very important awareness to get within myself, to actually really identify myself as having been a victim. I was able to go into the very deep grief work, like very, very deep grief. And I've been listening to this article about a man who's written this amazing book, which I'm going to get all this information collated so I can reference it and cite it for you all. But just for the sake of simplicity, just please let me share this amazing man on Vision Christian Radio, who's written an incredible book about surviving sexual abuse. And he's written, like him, he was 45 when he first started doing his healing work. And what actually happened was he identified with the assaults. He perceived himself, he's written a book on this, so I'm allowed to share it. He perceived himself as a part of the abuse. He thought he was at blame. He believed he was at blame for what happened to him. And then he realized he was an innocent victim. And so when he realized he was a victim, he then was able to go to a very, very deep level of grief work. And then through that, he's done a lot of work, and now I think he's in his 60s or something, and doing talks and writing books and doing, just amazing. Anyways, that resonated with me somehow. Like, there was something about that really, really resonated, about him not believing he was part of the abuse. He was an outright true victim. And so something in me has been going, yeah, the victimness of when you're a little innocent and all this horrendous abuse happens to you, there is something about accepting that one was the victim in that situation that allows the grief work to go to a much deeper level. And so, in all honesty, I believe I have been doing very deep grief work for a very, very long time, because I accepted that I was a victim of horrible events that I didn't create. They happened to me. And it wasn't because I was weak that they happened. It was just because I was a little person in the wrong place. And to realize that a little person doesn't really have that much ability to protect themselves against strong adults or systems that want to do damage. So maybe because I'm highly intellectual, or maybe because I got presented the works at the right times, but I was able to separate those elements probably when I was in my early 30s, at least on some levels, okay? And in saying that, in all honesty, I do believe that's really assisted with my mental health, and it's helped me like not go down the track of numbing out, or I've been prepared to feel, and I've done the very deep grief work. And I did believe there was very little shame in me, because I was able to separate what has happened to me to who I am, who my true essence is. And I do feel intuitively that's still genuine. I feel like overall the essence in me separated from the abused part of me at a very early age. And so, but basically, what I've come to realize is, yeah, I've done a heap of healing on a very deep level, uh, but there's so many more layers. And a part of me gets exhausted with that. Like, I'm not like this last year or so, I've gone, especially doing this women to women's workshop, like, wow, how many more layers is there? And I have to be 100% honest with you. I feel this deep sense of grief of I've done so much work on myself for so long, and I feel like there's still so much more to do. And a part of me keeps going, this must be so close. You must be so close. And I guess it's the carrot, like you go, I guess it's like part of us goes, it's just there, it's just around the corner. But I'm 55 now, and the older I get, and in this women's to women's workshop, there's women there much older than me, and I've come to realize that, and on Vision Christian Radio and at my church, there's a lot of much older people who speak about their traumas, and I realize that in general, there's a lot of people much physically older than me who are still dealing with very deep grief on deep levels. And then that's human suffering, and we do often wonder, is it forever? Is it for our whole lifetime? Are we going to feel true peace at any moment when we're actually physically alive on this planet? And basically, that's why I believe this, the safety in knowing that we're forever loved by our dear Lord, and knowing that we have true peace when this vessel has left Earth. That's of course a lovely feeling, knowing that our suffering won't be forever. Might be for the rest of this life as this vessel, though. And of course, there's a sense of anxiety around that, and apprehension, like this heart, this life, this body might have suffering for the rest of its life. I've been meeting more and more people who've had suffering their whole life. So be it. So be it. So shame, we'll wrap this up soon. Shame is something that I'm realizing I still have a lot of shame in me. Or I always have and wasn't quite aware of it. And the shame is not so much about the fact that I've been an abused person or had abuse in my life. The shame feels more like my growth. Like, just want to see my growth. I want to see the true beauty and blossoming of what this life, what I was born to be. That's where the deepest part of shame comes from. How's that? Like, and I think about obviously there's been different stages in my life that I personally believe I've sabotaged full potential in that area. But then saying that, maybe that's not a track I was supposed to go down, and maybe I was supposed to take the other path. So this is where I think as humans we never really know, do we? Where our true blossoming it's all about love, being kind and loving, and so I guess the shame is in the times when I've made decisions or acted in a way where I let fear step in or ego step in or um not yeah. Anyways, shame's a big one, peoples, and I've come to realize yeah, just my op shop duty today, like, feeling like I'm not good enough even to like, what I do is been doing an exceptional job because 'cause I'm very, very, neat and tidy and, I'm really good at organising and cleaning and, yeah, so obviously, I really love working with colour and patterns, and so obviously I'm doing a fantastic job with what I'm doing. Uh So what is it? That just the feeling the shame coming up. Yeah, just yeah, it's an interesting one, peoples. And so what's the point of this YouTube channel today? Safety? Feel like talking about safety for I'll take this in this at 30 minutes. So it gives us 6 minutes. So safety. I I think shame ties in with safety a little bit, peoples, because if we are not feeling completely safe within our vessel. Like if I think if we're feeling shame about our vessel, that our identity, who we are, I think if we're feeling shame, then we're not feeling safe because you can't feel safe in your vessel, in my opinion, unless you're really centered into the true essence of all of who and what we are. So if we slip out of the essence of who what we are, if we slip out of that and we get caught up in the ego stuff, then elements of unsafety will kick in. And I guess we get confused and, so home. Yeah, I feel like shame's got something to do with home. Like, uh, if we can't love our home, which is our body, and if we can't truly love our essence of who we are in this body, then there's an element of shame around that essence or shame around that home that we're in. And then maybe in that process, we start looking around our environment and start noticing other things that are disconcerting. And then we get rattled, and then we start feeling shame about our lack of gratitude and shame because we're letting fear kick in and all sorts of, yeah, it's crazy. It's very mental, isn't it? So, with my YouTube channel today, I think what I want to share with you all is this shame journey and this safety journey and this seeking home journey. I actually really believe they're all connected. And when I do eventually start writing and collating things and getting it all presentable to do really amazing workshops and this and that, rah rah, from lived experience. And I'll be humble enough, I believe, in the workshops to share whatever layer of learning I'm at that time as well, because I don't think this shame journey is simple, or is so super simple that I'll end on this. I love myself for who I am and for all of what I've been gifted and all of my essence. So all that I have been gifted as for who I am, my unique self, I truly love that. And I'm truly grateful for that. And I'm truly grateful that I've been born. So, and it's a genuine love because I know that I'm loved by God. I know I'm lovable and I'm loving. And so, in all of that, I have full faith in my essence and the truth of who I am. So, the part of me that feels shame, I believe that's environmental. I believe that's to do with, I feel like I want to say hormones or brain chemicals. Um, when I get out of the essence, the simplicity of what life is, which is love, it's so hard to explain. That's why when I write these books, it's going to be great. So I'm wondering if you actually understand a little bit about what I'm contemplating and quandering. So we'll keep discussing this because yeah, it's become a big awareness in me that shame and sense of rejection is a big issue for many people. I've been hearing lots of people tell me this, and so a lot of people don't talk about it, but a lot of people are legit really worried about being rejected, like losing their loved ones, losing their positions, which could be safety of home. It could be, uh, uh, it, it's got to be a human, ubiquitous, worldwide uh, trait. We so desire to belong and be loved, and I do believe that's why a lot of people make too many compromises, and um, we've got to learn what is a healthy compromise. Yeah, it's big topics, everyone. So we will continue this conversation further, and it's a really big topic, isn't it? And I've got some very amazing, beautiful elders, like people who are in this really amazing seniors confiding in me. Such an honor. And I've come to realize I haven't yet met one person who isn't, sorry, not hasn't, it's never a past issue, it's current. It seems to always be current, and it seems to be something that's been going through their whole life. So, I've come to realize that humans really fear being rejected and being unloved. And that's why it's so important, that we accept how completely God loves us, and God will always love us, and to meet friends and have beautiful loved ones in our lives, that we have those honest conversations about making sure the connection and the honesty and the love is always at the forefront, and that way we'll always keep our worries of rejection and shame and all that within, what's the word, not at bay, but within, just really, just be really mindful that it's not true. It's not true. So we'll leave it at that, and really looking forward to getting those written down. I reckon it's 1 to 2 to 3 years away, everybody. I'm so sorry about this, but I actually think I'm about 1 to 2 to 3 years away from writing my books. And the main reason is I'm still in the process of attempting to create a home. Okay, and that means a space for healthy cooking. I've only just recently organised my clothes. All my paperwork's still in storage. All my books are still in storage. All my art and craft is still in storage. I've only just recently created a bit of a system with my clothes and my some of my renovating stuff I've been able to unpack because I'm in the process of making a secure home. And right now I'm in the process of making a functional kitchen, okay? And so in the process of making a functional kitchen, then the health kicks in, and next step is a functional office admin area, and then then the garden, creating garden. Wow, that's what I'm really hanging out for. Landscaping, creating garden, okay? That's my passion. Anyways, God bless, and trust in our lovability. Trust that we're all lovable, and our shame can be released just through the process of grace, and acknowledging that we're feeling the shame, and releasing it, grieving it. Releasing and grieving. All right. God bless, and I'll see you all hopefully next Monday. No promises. I'm sorry at the moment, but I do endeavour to definitely make Mondays the set date, and I would like to say see you Monday, okay, which I think is Monday the 7th, 8th, Monday the 8th of September. I endeavour to see you all again. All right. God bless. God bless. God bless. Okay, keep safe, everyone. Keep loving yourself, and yeah, God bless. Okay.